Hello everybody and welcome to our final Inside GWM for 2025. It's the final episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Apologies for being a little late. All will be revealed as to why in just a moment. My name is Luke Heismans. I'm your host. Consider this your backstage pass to the world of GWM. And again, thank you all so much for being here today. Most of you know what this is about already. But if you're just joining us today for the very first time, this is your VIP access to the world of GWM. Whether you've been with us for years, you're just stumbling upon us by accident today, randomly on the internet, maybe you're a part of our dealer network, there is something in these events for everyone. And since we're live, it is the perfect time to pick the brains of our experts. So if you've got a burning question or a comment, or you just want to say hi, drop us a comment throughout this event. You can even start right now. Put your thoughts or questions in the comment, and we're going to get to as many of those as we can in our live Q&A session a little bit later on. And just like the last live stream we did in November, we're going to be giving a few things away for our top three, our favourite comments or questions. The team at GWM are going to pick out who they think is worthy, and they're going to walk away with some exclusive GWM merch. So if you've got a question or a comment, start posting now. Before we shift into gear, I want to take a quick moment to acknowledge
for the year. It's come around very, very quickly, but delighted to be back and good to see everyone.
And look, I don't want to blame you for us starting a little bit late, but I'm going to blame you. So you've literally just walked in the door, got off an aeroplane, drove here as quickly as you could. Yeah. What have you been up to the last couple of days?
Yeah, well, we are running, I was about to say 10 minutes late. I think we're running about 15, 20 minutes late, so apologies. Yeah, so I've been on the Gold Coast in Brisbane the past couple of days, shooting some exciting new content for GWM for next year. A new TVC and a new campaign for a couple of our existing and soon to be upgraded models as well. So can't say much more than that, but very, very happy with what we've got. It's something very distinctly GWM and something very distinctly sort of Aussie in terms of humor and connection as well. So really happy with that. But literally, got off the plane about 1 o'clock, looked at the sat nav and told me it was going to take just over an hour to get here. So we've literally had 5-10 minutes to prepare before we've gone live. So sorry to keep you all waiting.
And Melbourne traffic, and it's just started to rain too, so that wouldn't have helped.
I've just come straight out of the Gold Coast sun back into Melbourne rain, so here we are.
Mate, talk us through the list of achievements this year, because it's been big.
Look, this year has been, without a doubt, the biggest year so far for GWM Down Under. We've had tremendous growth, and I'll talk a bit to the sales numbers shortly, but ultimately, as a brand, as a company, we've grown significantly. We've grown dealers. We've had a significant number of new model launches. We've done some really, really, really big events as well. And certainly the brand is in the best health as we sit here today than it's ever been. If we think about what some of those achievements are, we launched no less than 7 brand new models this year. So that's significant. And again, to launch these cars, there's a huge amount of people that work behind the scenes that do the product planning, that do the pricing. We get aligned with our training, we get aligned with our sales teams, our dealers, and then we do the launch events. We, of course, engage with our dealers, the media, of course, you, the public, and they all take a huge amount of work. So 7 of those has been busy. One of those was significantly bigger than the others, of course, and that was GWM Tech Day that we executed in September. 3-day event, 50, 60, 70 people involved in the organizing and sort of running of that when it actually happened. But by far the biggest event that we've done, and certainly speaking to the Australian motoring press, they would say probably the biggest event for the industry this year as well. So
that's a great
it's been a huge year and it's been pretty busy, but it's great.
If you haven't seen the videos of GWM Tech Day is a slightly confusing thing because it was 3 days. So if you haven't seen the video on it yet, make sure you check that out on YouTube after this as well. But 7 car launches, that's like 1 every 2 months. Like that would have kept you busy. Is there one that you're more proud of than the others? I know that could be like picking a favourite child.
It is a bit like that. I mean, there's probably a couple of products in there that have really shifted the needle for us as well. I think one of the main ones was the addition of the new 2.4 litre diesel engine into the Cannon Ute. Now, not only did we do that, but we upgraded the towing in that car. It was initially 3 ton, then 3.25, but now into the benchmark 3.5 ton towing as well. So that's lifted performance in that car, and it was really important that we did that because it's a huge segment within Australia and New Zealand. So that was a really important one for us that was well received by the public, by the dealers, by buyers, and by the media as well. The other one that I think really sticks out for me was H6 GT PHEV, which we did out of Sydney in March this year. That was the first time GWM had launched a plug-in hybrid vehicle into a range. Now we're sitting here today with 4, so we've moved through that introduction of that technology quite quickly. But equally, it's super important technology because of the way the industry's heading, because of course the introduction of new vehicle efficiency standards, but not just because of that, but because of what plug-in hybrid technology offers. In that H6 GT PHEV that I'm talking about, we launched back in March, I think it was, 180 k's of pure EV range, 0 to 104.9 seconds, incredible combined fuel economy and consumption, an absolute rocket in terms of how it drives. But where's most pleasing is this was new technology being introduced to the market for us for the first time ever, look. And already in that car, it's achieving 50% of our model mix. We're selling as many plug-in hybrids in that particular model as we are petrol, which of course is still the dominant powertrain across Australia. So it shows that with the right launch, with the right momentum, and the right product and the right tech, it's possible. So that was a big one for us, for sure.
Well, I'm going to second that because I was lucky enough to be offered one to drive to Canberra and back from Melbourne, and I loved it, and I'm looking at one myself. So I can agree that I can see why people are loving that car.
Yeah, it is a great car. And again, if you're thinking of getting into the PHEV space, we've obviously got a number of options in there. H6 is another new car we launched recently, a hugely important car for GWM and for the market. It is the biggest segment within Australia. We've launched that with petrol, we've launched that with hybrid, we've launched that with plug-in hybrid as well in the form of Hi4, even quicker than the H6 GT PHEV. So again, if plug-in hybrid is something that you are considering, Hi4 and Hi4T obviously in our tank and cannon range gives you that incredible mix of on-road and off-road performance in the case of Hi4T, incredible fuel efficiency, but of course drivability, traction, safety, all powered by battery and EV. So it gives you that opportunity for pure EV driving as well.
We've talked about it a lot throughout the live streams. I'm not sure how many other manufacturers can hang their hat on this because it's all about choice. And you guys and if you rattle them all off, it's super impressive. Everything from electric to plug-in hybrid to petrol to diesel.
Yep.
There's no powertrain I don't think you guys aren't really offering, or as in, you know, in terms of the combustion engine and what you can do with it, and you've also got EV.
Spot on, look, and I think one of the things that sets GWM apart from many of the other perhaps new entrants into the market here within Australia and New Zealand is that we've got incredible technology, but we're a car company. We live to develop and to market and to sell and to look after cars of any variety. And as you said, we've got 4, 5, 6 different powertrain options within there as well. There's a number of the entrants come to market who are just EV or perhaps just EV and plug-in hybrid. And why we think that we have got the right options for Australian and Kiwi buyers is because 90% of the market is still petrol and diesel. Hybrid's growing by all means, but certainly that plug-in hybrid part of the market is still relatively small and it is growing quickly. But we give customers choice. We're not saying you have to choose one or the other. You can certainly have whatever you want. And I think testament to that as well is certainly the development that's going into not just new Hi4 and Hi4T powertrains, and we're going to have a lot more of those to talk about next year, but it's also the development into those existing sort of powertrains that you talk about. So we've invested in that new 2.4 litre diesel engine in the Cannon that's also gone into some of our other models. There is also going to be that incredible 3 litre turbo diesel coming to Australia and New Zealand next year, and we will be the first market globally to get that. So hugely important for consumers here, but equally the fact that we're continuing to develop in the more traditional fuel types, maximizing efficiency and performance out of those as well.
And as soon as you said all that, I can hear the comments and questions coming already about when's the V8.
Correct.
So with all those powertrain options, are you, GWM, concerned about the NVS, or are you happy with how you're going to be tackling that?
Concerned, certainly not where we're at with the new vehicle efficiency standard. And just again, maybe we'll recap quickly just to explain what that is for anyone who might not be across that. So certainly, the Australian government has introduced what's called the new vehicle efficiency standard. And ultimately what that means is that they are attempting to drive down emissions across the country for obvious reasons. And equally to do that, they're incentivizing OEMs and brands like GWM and everyone else to bring in more fuel efficient vehicles. Ultimately, those vehicles which emit more CO2 will be penalized. The cars which emit less will receive credits for the OEM. So what that means is that brands like GWM have to think long and hard about the products we're developing, what we're bringing in, but ultimately what we're able to sell them at as well. But given that we've already got 5 hybrid options, 4 plug-in hybrid options, we've got an EV, and we've already confirmed there will be more EV options coming from GWM next year, we have entered into this phase of NVES quietly confident that we can come out of it look stronger than we went in. Obviously, every other brand is going to have their opportunities and challenges, but certainly when I look at the list of brands selling within Australia here today, we're certainly in one of the stronger positions to be able to offer that choice, but crucially, to keep that very, very strong value proposition going for GWM customers across the region.
Well, let's dive into that then, the sales, because the sales momentum for GWM has grown and continues to grow exponentially. What do you think is fueling that, and where do you see it going next year, or where do you want to take it?
So we're obviously sitting here, what's today, the 19th, I think, of December, so coming towards the end of another calendar year. The official VFAX sales results come out on the 3rd business day of every month, so we're not going to know exactly where 2025 has finished for us within the context of the market until, the 3rd, 4th, or 5th of Jan. But at the end of November, we had sold nearly 48,000 new cars here in Australia. We expect that we're certainly going to clear 50,000 units. I think I'll be looking for a new job if we certainly don't by the end of December, but I think that's a given. I think that's in the bag already. How much beyond 50,000 we go remains to see what happens over the next couple of weeks. But that's huge momentum for us. The market here in Australia is generally flat. There is no growth. There's plenty of new brands coming in who are getting some volume. They're taking growth from some of the more established brands. But for context, GWM sales have grown 20% this year in a market that's flat. That's allowed us to, make our way up that top 10 ladder. We now sit in 7th year to date, which is the highest position we've certainly ever been in. But we don't rest there. The company motto is go with more. My boss and my boss's bosses are always looking for us to do more, and I'm sure all of you out there have got a boss. It's the same for everyone. Everyone's boss always wants more, but certainly that's the challenge that we're taking on for 2026. We've publicly come out and said our ambition is top 5. We've got a mantra called Drive to Top 5, and ultimately to get to that top 5 number, we need to sell probably around about 75,000 units here within Australia. We're not there yet, clearly, and we have to earn that. But certainly next year will be a big step in us getting towards that 75,000 units, which we hope to be able to achieve by 2027.
Right, I was going to say 2026 could be a very exciting year though, with some of the product launches that you've got coming down the pipeline. We'll get to those in a little bit later. But in order to sell that amount of cars, you need an expansive dealer network. And people need to feel confident that they can buy a car that's near them, have their car serviced near them.
Yep.
So you've been working on dealer network expansion as well a lot this year. A lot of focus has gone into that.
Absolutely, and I think as we keep talking about this growth, it would be irresponsible of any brand to come out and just sell cars without a supporting network there, because that after-sales piece is hugely important. Now, all of our vehicles come with a 7-year unlimited K warranty here within Australia, and certainly over in New Zealand, 7 years as well. So very, very comprehensive after-sales package. But equally, it's not just about us setting up enough dealers so we can sell and get to this ambitious sales target that we have and give customers choice and options. It is about making sure that customers have ease of location close to hand when they want to service. But equally, New Zealand's a diverse country. It takes a while to travel from one area to another. Australia obviously is huge, and we need to make sure that anyone who's buying into the GWM brand, they've got confidence that when they go outback, long trips, regional trips, they've got service points. Should anything happen, or even should they need to have a car serviced if they're doing a round the country trip. And to do that, we've been investing very, very heavily with our dealers to grow our dealer network this year. We went into the year with 132 dealers across the ANZ region, Luke. We're ending the year with 141, and there's probably a bit more growth to come in that next year as well. So certainly that peace of mind is super important, not just about, opening up the brand to customers, but making sure we're there to support in the unlikely event something should go wrong.
I think it's great, and it should give customers a lot more confidence too when purchasing and going, well, I know I can get my car serviced just down the road, as opposed to going, I've got to go to the next town over.
Correct. Yeah.
So lastly, we've talked about the Drive to 5 and that ambition. But what are you most excited about product-wise? And I have to ask, is there anything that you can share with us today about what might be coming next year?
As always, I need to keep my lips relatively tight on this. But we've had an extremely busy year this year in terms of new model launch activity. Next year is shaping up to be even busier. So if you've been impressed, you've certainly been noticing the amount of new technology coming from GWM this year. Look, there's going to be much more of it next year. We're very, very excited about the opportunity that brings us. A few things we have confirmed, obviously, is that 3-litre turbo diesel, so that will be making its debut down under next year, again, in the exact vehicle. We'll confirm a bit more on that when we can, but ultimately timing as well. We have already confirmed, if you're not aware, that there is going to be another new vehicle called the Xiaolong Max, which is going to be appearing next year as well. So more of a sort of small to medium size SUV, again, with some of those really tech battery-powered powertrains in there as well. So another plug-in hybrid option in there as well.
Will that have a different name when it arrives in Australia?
We're still working through that right now. Certainly that's the name it's been launched with overseas. So again, we haven't confirmed that yet. We're still working through that for 2026. The other car, which we have confirmed but we haven't released all the details on yet, is the Tank 300 High 4T. So again, another addition to that High 4 and High 4T range. So that incredible professional off-road tank platform that the 300 diesel, 300 petrol and hybrid are already built on, the car that of course conquered Beer O'Clock Hill, we're coming back and we're certainly going to be bringing that car with High 4T next year as well. So we're very, very excited about that. If it's a car you are interested in, you want to find out more, jump onto the GWM website, gwmanz.com. We've got a register your interest page there. We are going to be releasing more information, including additional specs and pricing in the coming weeks. So that's one that's coming sooner than the rest. So again, watch this space.
You've touched on High 4 and High 4T and Beer O'Clock Hill. If you're thinking, what are those words? They make no sense. We've got some great video content on GWM's YouTube page.
Yeah.
So make sure you check out, especially Beer O'Clock Hill. That's a fantastic accomplishment for the brand. But enough questions from me, because we've got a lot coming in. So let's dive right into the Q&A. I know you've got a lot of burning questions. So here we go. If you are ready, Chester has said, Way People Movers, when will that be available?
So yeah, great question, Chester. We haven't got exact timing on that. We have confirmed, of course, that the Way sub-brand will join us next year in the ANZ region. Timing still to be confirmed, but certainly, yes, that Way People Mover is very much on the cards. We are having a good look at it right now. Again, nothing to confirm today, unfortunately, but again, watch this space. Certainly, this channel, through our usual socials, will be the place to see it when we do make that announcement as well.
And talk about luxury. We've had the we've had the ability to sit in that van, and it is next level. Being able to recline like you're in a business class airplane seat is pretty special.
It is incredible, and I think it offers something very different to what any of the other sub-brands within GWM offers. And of course, with Tank, you've got this incredibly capable off-road machine, which is absolutely luxurious inside. But again, the luxury and the comfort that this Way People Mover offers, again, is something different. And again, we're delighted to bring it into the range. And again, we'll share more information on that as soon as we can.
Penny has said, love seeing how far GWM has come this year. Stay strong in 2026. Love my Tank 300. Thank you very much, Penny. Daniel, okay, you just kind of touched on this, but is the Xiaolong Max PHEV coming to Australia in 2026?
Well, we've confirmed the car is coming. You know, powertrain, naming, timing, pricing, of course, is still up for discussion. But yeah, that's one of the cars that we will see coming through in 2026, yes.
Peter has asked, will the 300 High 4T have the new interior? Great question.
That's a great question, and we're not in a position to confirm that yet. As I say, we are going to be releasing more information as we get towards that launch period, which is only a couple of months away now. So watch this space, and we'll release more information on that when we can.
Paul has asked, will GWM host any customer events in 2026 like Tech Day?
The short answer to that is yes. Of course, we've got Tank Club, so certainly for those tank owners out there, Tank Club will continue, and we're looking to host more tank clubs, hopefully in different locations. Next year, we've done the eastern seaboard of Victoria, New South Wales, and of course Queensland so far this year. Looking to look at some other options, maybe head across west next year as well. We are looking at some other options for non-tank owners, of course, any owner of any GWM. So we're working through some ideas of what that could look like, perhaps more towards the middle of the year. And Tech Day as well, we haven't yet confirmed whether Tech Day will be an annual event, but certainly the success of that event for us this year, the amount of interest that it generated, is certainly something that we would consider moving forward again.
There you go, great question. Stephen said, I'm getting my new Canon in January when I start my new job. New year, new job, new ute. I can't wait for 2026. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you, Stephen. Right back at you.
Stephen.
Jake, what does GWM think about the growing EV and PHEV competition? Will there be a move away from ICE or the internal combustion engine next year for you guys too?
That is a great question. And again, that sort of alludes back to my earlier point about the NVES program that the government has brought in. Certainly, if the government maintains its stance of penalties and concessions the way that they have right now, there is no doubt over time that internal combustion engines will decrease in terms of their share of the market. But just for some context, internal combustion powered engines are making up 90% of the market today. So it's still the vast majority of new cars that are being sold are still powered in some way, shape or form by an internal combustion engine. That could be straight petrol, could be straight diesel, it could be hybrid. Now, we are preparing ourselves for the change that we believe is going to happen within the market here, within Australia and within New Zealand. Plug-in hybrid, we firmly believe, is going to be the technology which is going to transition a lot of buyers away from pure petrol. When you think about what plug-in hybrid can offer, the fact that you've got this incredible electrified powertrain that can deliver excellent performance, amazing efficiency, and good range, certainly up to 180 k's of range in the GWM range.
And that's just off the battery. That's amazing.
Just off the battery. So that's you running purely on EV. So certainly if you're looking for a car and you think EVs for me, but you're not sure about range, you're not sure if you're ready for it, plug-in hybrid, certainly GWM High 4 and High 4T technology is the way to go, because you're getting that pure EV experience. But then when you throw in the fact that it's mated to an already efficient internal combustion petrol engine, and you're getting combined range in many cases of well over 1,000 kilometers, you've got the best of both worlds. So certainly there will be several more additions of the plug-in hybrid nature for GWM next year, and we believe that's going to be hugely important within the marketplace. We believe with that we're going to be in a leading position in terms of the amount of alternatives we've got. But also, as I said earlier, we will be offering more options with Aura EV. So yes, the short answer to that is over time it will change, and certainly GWM is preparing for that right now.
Shivani, hope I said that correctly. I've seen that GWM might offer something similar to Kia's warranty. Is there 7-year warranty on all GWMs? So that could be a little bit of confusion there around the 777 or the 755.
Yeah. So correct, there is a 7-year unlimited kilometer warranty on every GWM sold here. Off the back of that, if you're buying a car which is a plug-in hybrid or an EV GWM, the main battery pack on that car comes with an 8-year warranty as well. So additional coverage on that battery pack for anyone out there who's thinking about whether battery technology is right for them. There's even more coverage within that particular part of the car. Now, we've got 2 warranty programs today. We've got 777 and 755. So 7 years unlimited kilometer warranty, 7 years roadside assistance, and 7 years cap price servicing on our Tank and Canon Alpha products. Every other product within the GWM range is 755. So 7 years unlimited kilometer warranty, 5 years roadside assistance, and 5 years cap price servicing. So a hugely comprehensive after sales package, and as we said, across 132 dealers at the start of the year, and now across 141 today.
Great question, Shivani. Liam, when can we expect the 3-litre cannon or tank? That will shake up the industry. Yes, it will.
It certainly will, and Nicole Wu, who is GWM's Chief Technology Officer, Nicole was good enough to confirm that for us at our Tech Day a couple of months ago, and again we said earlier that Australia will be the global launch market for that powertrain. I'm not at liberty to say just yet when that will come, but certainly you're going to see it next year, and again watch this space for when we can tell you more.
Graham, would the V2L technology in the Canon Alpha last a long weekend camping trip? I've seen new energy vehicles outputting power, but it seems like a quick solution if you're in a pinch and not something practical I could use. Great question, Graham.
In theory, yes, it does depend what you're running. It depends what the draw of that particular device or appliance is. In theory, when you think about the size of the battery packs that some of our GWM products have, so if you think about the bigger battery packs in our technology today are around about 37 kilowatt hours, the average draw on an Australian household per day is around about 18 to 20 kilowatts. So when you consider that, and then you consider the size of the battery pack, in theory, yes, but again, it does depend what you're drawing. Some appliances will draw more than others. It's certainly not designed to be a long-term energy solution, but certainly in terms of camping, off-grid, that type of thing, it's the perfect solution for that.
Yeah, if you're setting up a festival in the middle of the bush, maybe
you might
not, but cooking up some bacon and eggs and powering a few lights, no dramas. Oscar, question for Steve. What was the key model of the year for GWM?
Depends on what you see by key, whether key is volume driving, and if it was volume driving, it absolutely has to be our Jolyon. Jolyon has been a huge seller in many cases, or certainly for the whole year, certainly within the top 3 small SUVs in terms of sales. It's been a great seller for us, hugely important car. The reason that car is important as well is in many cases it's the first GWM that people step into, but quite often we see Jolyon bars then stepping into an H6, into a Canon. Perhaps somebody in the family's got it and they recommend it so highly that it takes somebody into another model within the range. If you were to ask about the most important model, to me, I would still say one of two. I would say either the Canon. Of course, dual cab utes are everywhere. They're omnipresent within Australia and certainly New Zealand. And certainly for us, the Canon is a hugely important car that, quite frankly, we have to do better with in 2026. The car deserves so much more than perhaps the sales result it's got this year. It's incredibly well equipped with that new 2.4 litre turbo diesel engine, 3.5 ton towing, and incredible value. So that's an important one. But above them all, I would suggest that the new Haval H6 has been the most important new car launch for GWM this year. It's the country's largest segment, but the car that we have launched is absolutely incredible. It's improved on already very, very good product in so many ways. Ride and handling, just even the cabin layout, but the fact that we've added high 4 technology in both hybrid and plug-in hybrid technology across that car absolutely transforms it in terms of on-road performance. The fact that you can get that EV range, the fact that you can get the performance, the fact that you can get the all-wheel drive grip, everything in there really transforms that. So for me, that car, the H6, has been the car of the year for me, and I think it's destined for much greater things in 2026.
Ooh, big words, big
Indeed.
statements.
Indeed.
Read between the lines. No. Jordan. I love the grey matte colour for the Canon XSR. Will you be bringing this across the range or on other models in 2026?
That's a great question, and it is something that we are considering and we are talking about. As with every new model, we do look very closely and work with our head office colleagues in terms of what colour palettes are available to us, and certainly that storm grey colour is something that we are considering taking across to a few others. Again, watch this space and we'll confirm closer to launch timing.
Another High 4T question here from Lance. Big four-wheel drive community member here. What makes High 4T so competitive?
Great question, Lance. And again, I'm not sure if yourself or others may or may not have tuned into our last Inside GWM live stream where we had our High 4T chassis with us, and we talked about the componentry within that chassis that makes High 4T, certainly in our view, the class-leading 4x4 off-road plug-in electric technology. Where our technology differs from some other 4x4 technologies is in two ways. Now, if you compare the conventional mechanical linkage that most of your dual cab utes and certainly more of your traditional large off-road SUVs will have, we've absolutely got that. So we match that in every single way, but we actually augment it as well. The fact that on tank, for example, you've got front and rear locking diffs, but then also in some cases you've got a center locking diff as well. So that mechanical package there is absolutely incredible. We're then augmenting that by adding electric power to that as well. So that also then gives you the ability to use the electric power and to drive in pure EV mode off-road. So again, efficiency gives you additional performance where you need it. But where GWM's high 4T technology really differs from some of the other technologies from other emerging brands that you might have heard of lately is that we're not relying purely on electric motors to give us the drive and the connection between front and rear. And that's where that mechanical linkage of high 4T makes it absolutely class leading. Yes, we've got the additional electric power to give us the performance and efficiency where we need it, but we make sure that as much as there's a lot of smart technology and software making decisions hundreds of times a second within the vehicle, that mechanical linkage doesn't lie. When you need the power front to rear, left to right, that linkage is there. We're not relying on motors or electric motors to do that job because software can never give you that one-to-one direct connection that is needed for the best and most challenging off-road driving. So for us, that's probably in a nutshell why we believe high 4T is the perfect execution of off-road technology.
The kids these days will never understand having to get out of the car and physically lock the lock the diffs on wheels.
Which you certainly don't have to do on a tank or a Cannon, for sure.
So while we're talking to our 4x4 community, we're talking high 4 and high 4T technology. We were just discussing the V2L technology as well. Maybe this is a great time. So I know GWM has just dropped a new video on YouTube about an adventure through the Victorian high country. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, and this is a content series that we're developing to try and not so much educate, we are trying to do that, but also to entertain and to explain to people the benefits, as per our last question from Lance, as to why high 4T is such a special and such a capable technology. So we've taken our Canon Alpha high 4T, we've taken our Tank 500 high 4T, and we've taken our new and upcoming Tank 300 high 4T, and we've taken them to the Victorian high country. So across 2 days, we've covered a few hundred kilometers, we've done mountain passes, we've done gravel, we've done ridge lines, but more importantly, we did 24, I think it was, river crossings across that road trip. Now, there is some people out there that might think that EV and electric technology and water doesn't mix. Now, again, let's not forget Tank and Canon, because Canon is built on the same tank platform, has been developed as a professional off-road platform. So what we've gone out to do is to try and do a bit of myth busting and to show you not just how capable high 4 and high 4T is within those vehicles, but certainly the fact that crossing rivers, doing extreme off-road driving, those cars will handle it with ease. So on that trip, not only have we crossed 24 rivers without any issues with any of those vehicles, we've done some pretty extreme off-road driving. And back to the earlier question about V2L, we've powered our campsite and we've powered a lot of the work that we've been doing, the cameras we've been using have been powered off that V2L technology as well. So the content has been amazingly well received. We launched a series of teaser videos just a week ago, and not even the full content. That full content has just gone live within the past couple of hours. But the teaser videos alone on our socials have already amassed over 1 million views within a week. So the content seems to be right, but certainly people are engaging with it. And I think that's because we're able to demonstrate just how incredible this technology is. And I think people are really leaning into it.
And if people are wondering what tracks you're referring to, is Crooked River and
Crooked River and Blue Rag Range.
Blue Rag Range, yes.
The Victorian high countries. For those of you who are 4x4 enthusiasts, you'll know exactly what we're talking about.
There you go. So after this, make sure you jump into the YouTube channel and check that out as well. All right, back to the questions. We've still got time for a couple more. Okay. Samuel, loved the Tank 300 high 4T stuff. Great to see a big brand still actually pushing their cars to the limit. What else is next?
Well, we've just finished that content series now, so we'll take a breather if you don't mind for Christmas and New Year. But we have got a whole load of other ideas in the making. We've got one very, very special one that I can't talk about just yet, but we've been working very closely with our agency partners, and it does involve high 4T again. That's going to see the light of day probably in the latter half of February this year. So again, watch out. Certainly you've hopefully enjoyed our beer clock content. Hopefully you'll enjoy the high country content that Luke's just mentioned there, but there is some other really exciting content coming in 2026 as well.
Zachary has asked, will the new bigger Aura join the Australia-New Zealand lineup?
Look, we haven't officially confirmed that car for the ANZ region yet, but certainly the Aura or Aura 5, as it's been unveiled overseas, is an SUV version of the current Aura hatchback. Now, we've certainly talked a lot about the opportunity for Aura in the past. And if you were to think about one of the largest segments within the country, certainly SUV would seem to be where that's heading. So again, I'm not going to confirm it definitively today, but certainly Aura SUV is certainly something we're looking at very, very strongly.
Read into that what you will, Zachary. Stephen has asked, what feedback has GWM received in the New Zealand market? What is the biggest advantage for New Zealand buyers choosing GWM over more established brands? Thanks.
It's a great question, and I think GWM's competitive advantage in New Zealand is absolutely no different to what it is here within Australia. The value equation in New Zealand remains exceptionally strong. Our after-sales package in New Zealand remains exceptionally strong. We've got a good dealership network of 21 dealers, I think we have in New Zealand today as well. For anyone who, again, in New Zealand who hasn't yet tried the brand probably hasn't grown quite at the same pace as what we have here in Australia, but again, we're putting things in place to hopefully rectify that next year. But for anyone who's thinking about GWM and you're perhaps rusted on to one of the more traditional legacy brands, get in, try one. I think once you find yourself in that driver's seat, once you look at the technology, once you drive it, and then once you understand the overall value equation, I think GWM has got a lot more potential in New Zealand, and certainly we're putting a lot more resource into that market, including our dealers, including our head office staff and support staff in New Zealand as well, and we expect to see some growth certainly happening in New Zealand next year as well.
And again, people think of GWM as a brand that's just recently arrived on the scene, but that's not the case.
It certainly isn't the case. Now, GWM across the region is the longest standing Chinese brand of all. So we've been here for 16 years in Australia now, certainly a long, long history and heritage. We've been learning every single year of those 16 years about what the ANZ community needs, what our drivers are looking for. But equally, you know, that volume growth, that big spurt of volume growth has only really come in the last 3 or 4 years. We've learned a lot from the 10 or 12 years before that, and we're learning more every single day to make sure that we can deliver exactly what buyers in the region are looking for.
And most importantly, not only taking on customer feedback, but improving the product. Like, everything just seems to get better and better and better.
I've said this before, and I've been lucky to represent a few brands in my career, and never have I seen a brand that wants to learn at the pace that GWM is learning. As an example, we had 6 head office engineers arrived at our office in Melbourne, unannounced. We didn't even realize they were coming last week, but they got on a plane. They wanted to come and learn from some of our engineers that are doing local testing here. And that was across ADAS systems, that was across powertrain and transmission, that was across steering, that was across suspension. They want to come and learn exactly what ANZ buyers are looking for, what our road conditions are like. So that product development and product improvement is moving at pace. That is certainly, in my mind, seeing us already, from a product perspective, easily surpassing some of the more established brands out there.
All right, a couple more questions. We'll get through these. We'll call this our lightning round. Rachel has asked, how will GWM compete with all the new brands flooding the market next year?
Choice. We said it earlier on, we've got petrol, we've got diesel, we've got hybrid, we've got plug-in hybrid, we've got more EVs coming, we've got an established brand, we've got an established network, and we've got incredible value. We must have a few people watching right now from New Zealand, so a big shout out to all of our family in New Zealand. Blair's asked, are we going to see the H7 HEV in New Zealand? At this stage, that car is not on the radar for New Zealand. Obviously, the New Zealand market is a little bit smaller in terms of volume than Australia. Our footprint in terms of dealers is a little bit smaller. we've got to keep our range relatively tight. So at this stage, H7 is not on the cards for us, but if there is a mass, hands up, I'd love one, we'll certainly have a look at it.
Again, start flooding us with comments. Chad, will New Zealand get more accessories to add in 2026 for my tank?
Short answer is yes. Again, our internal accessory development team is working very, very hard. They're working with their head office colleagues, and short answer to that is yes. Tank, can, and in fact, every model will see a huge expansion in our genuine accessories range next year.
Oh, this is a question I'm also very interested in. Thank you for asking it, Keegan. Will be my first time attending the Beijing Motor Show in 2026. Will GWM Australia be covering this event like last year with Shanghai?
Absolutely. It's the biggest motor show on the international calendar every year. It is, of course, GWM's home motor show. We will be there. The display, the stand that we had last year, I lose count. I'm sure that when I say this number every time, I get it quite wrong because the number is so huge. There was somewhere in the region of 42 cars on the GWM stand last year. Absolutely enormous. It's a hugely important show for us to understand what's coming, to understand all the other technology that's coming, and also just to meet up with our global colleagues and friends as well. So certainly we'll be back, and I'm sure this crew, certainly inside GWM, will be back there covering from Beijing this year.
Well, because that was the follow-up question to that, is Luke has asked, can I get involved? Can't confirm.
Yes, can't confirm that just yet, but we'll work on it.
Jai, I have seen that the H6 goes from 0 to 100 in 4.8 seconds. Does that make it the quickest model in your lineup?
It is. It's the quickest model in our lineup, and it is also the quickest mid-sized SUV under 60k at the moment. So yeah, it's a performance benchmark, incredible. But yes, at this stage, it is the quickest, but certainly before too long, there is going to be other stuff coming which will be quicker.
All right, last three. Deb, love the Aura. Everyone in town knows when I drive by. Not by the sound because I'm quiet, but you can't miss the red Aura. Happy New Year. Thanks, GWM. Thanks, Deb. Andrew, love my Alpha, but must admit the Tank 700 will be getting a good look when it comes out. Any further information on the Tank 700?
No information on that yet, but I do think that Tank has got incredible potential. We're seeing growth happening in 300. Tank 300 is going incredibly well. We're seeing a bit of growth there in 500. There will be expansions in coming years to the Tank range, there is no doubt. Whether that's 700, whether it's something else, again, watch this space.
We're all waiting right along with you, Andrew. And India has asked, will we get Tank 500 High 4Z or Z?
That's a great question. And again, maybe just let me explain the difference between High 4T and High 4Z. When I was talking earlier about that mechanical connection that High 4T has, which makes it the perfect sort of apex application for off-road driving, that mechanical connection is not there on High 4Z. High 4Z will still allow you to do some soft off-roading, so certainly all-wheel drive, light sand, gravel, whatever that might be, but it's relying more on your electric motors that I talked about, which aren't the ideal solution for extreme off-roading, but certainly when you're on-road, they'll deliver you better performance and they'll deliver you more range. So High 4Z is a technology which at some point we're more than likely to see here in Australia. We're still working out what the best applications of High 4T and High 4Z are on the models that we've got and the models we're coming. So great question. And again, as always, and I keep saying this, we'll tell you more as soon as we can.
Okay, last but not least, Liam, with High 4T, will we see a diesel PHEV?
At this stage, there's no diesel High 4T on the cards. Never say never, but we believe, again, with the choice of diesel or with having High 4T, you've got the perfect options there. If you decide you're out in the country, you need the range and you need the versatility that diesel gives you, we're giving you that option. But equally, if you feel you want to explore the plug-in hybrid space, High 4T, obviously with that petrol backup engine, is there for you as well. It comes back to that point earlier about choice. So diesel, High 4T, not at this stage, but certainly diesel or High 4T will continue to be on the cards.
And as always, if you've got ideas about what powertrains you want to see in what, make sure you let GWM know. Drop them comments, questions, keep them coming. But I think that's probably a good space to wrap it up and wrap up our last Q&A session for 2025. If we didn't get to your questions or comments, don't worry. The team at GWM is still going to be going over them over the coming days, and will do their best to answer as many as possible online. The 3 winners of that exclusive GWM merch will also be picked out by the team and notified during the week, so make sure you keep an eye on the social channels for that announcement. Steve mentioned it before, but if you're curious to learn even more, or you're maybe thinking about getting behind the wheel of a GWM vehicle yourself, just head on over to gwmanz.com. You can check out the full lineup and even lock in your own test drive. We've mentioned a lot of video content on the YouTube channel. So once you're done watching this, if you've still got the time, make sure you jump into YouTube and check out some of the great videos that have been dropping this year. Plenty of content to keep you interested. And speaking of you and what you're going to be doing with your time, we just want to take this moment to say thank you. Whether you've just discovered us or you've been along with GWM for years, we're glad to have you as part of the GWM family. It has been an amazing year, Steve.
Incredible.
And we couldn't have achieved what we've achieved without you. I think the numbers for just these live stream events alone have reached over 500,000 views.
Which is mind-blowing. We started this live stream project just over a year ago, and this is episode 15 now, is that right? Episode 15? Yep. And we really didn't know where it was going to go, and we certainly love doing them. We love being able to talk about what we enjoy and talk about the GWM brand, but to have such level of engagement has been incredible. So yeah, thank you to every single one of you who've been tuning in. We want to make this even better than it is, so your feedback we really, really welcome. But yeah, the fact that we've had 500,000 people tune into this year is mind-blowing, and we hope to do it bigger and better next year, don't we, Luke?
Yep. So wherever you're watching from right now, thank you so very much for being a part of this and being a part of the GWM family. But that is it for 2025. Bring on 2026.
Indeed.
Keep an eye on the website and the social channels for all the latest updates and breaking news, and of course, details for our very first live event in January next year. But until then, drive safe, have an incredible break, ring in the new year with excitement, as we will be, and we will catch you all in 2026.